30 years ago, Cradle of Filth made Dusk and Her Embrace, the iconic 1996 record that cemented their sound. Gothic romance dragged into the black metal underworld.
Even though we recorded it in Birmingham in this sprawling metropolis and we were stationed in a bit of a grotty hotel, it was a magical experience. We were young. I think it was the same year that Typo's
October Rust?
we were playing Detroit and Pete came to the dressing room crashing in, probably off the hinges.
You've collaborated with a lot of people in your band, like you've had 37 band members of Cradle of Filth. Like, what does it take to be a part of Cradle of Filth?
We have to get on with everybody. The onset of the second wave of black metal, I was in contact and with friends with a lot of people from that scene, Euronymous included. He loved our demos. The dullheads, the people that, are still pondering around, trying to look like upturned badgers in nocturnal forests in the snow, would, balk at it.
The We Wreck Records podcast. Hello, welcome to We Wreck Records, a show dedicated to the music that moves the needle and the artists who make it. Today we have a very special guest, the almighty, deranged, evil, delightful Dani Filth of Cradle of Filth.
Hello.
We dedicate this show a lot to iconic albums, and Dusk and Her Embrace celebrates 30 years. If you had to introduce Dusk and Her Embrace at a party, how would you introduce her?
I'd just put it on the turntable and run. If it was, my mum's 70th birthday party, then yeah, it would be slightly embarrassing. I think what cements it more than anything, aside from the lyricism and the vibe, is the artwork, which was, we were very lucky to have managed to get the talent of Simon Marsden, who was a ghost hunter / photographer. There's a very famous U2 album, which blatantly, he actually took them to court over it, I believe.
This show is proudly presented by DistroKid, and we have a special deal for all the musicians out there looking to release their new music fast. DistroKid helps over 2 million musicians around the world release on all major music streaming platforms and YouTube. You keep 100% of your earnings, consult a huge range of features, and if you like this show, support this show by taking advantage of this incredible offer, 30% off your first year with DistroKid. Just head to distrokid.com/VIP/WeWreckRecords. This show is presented by Grillo's Pickles. Grillo's Pickles make the freshest, crunchiest, most delicious pickles. And even if you're not a pickle fan, you should try Grillo's today. Why not? Live a little. You can find them in the refrigerated section of your local grocery store. So chill out and eat a pickle.
At the time, we myself and the keyboardist traveled from Birmingham, where we were recording the album, all the way across to somewhere in the Lincolnshire countryside. And Simon lived in this gatehouse of a big Gothic mansion. I mean, he was totally a ghost hunter. And he was like this eclectic old man in a tweed jacket with a pipe, had a beautiful house full of, turn-the-century furniture. And yeah, we just poured through stuff and chose some of the works that we felt were conducive to the lyricism. So we're combining that with Nigel Wingrove's artwork, he was the guy responsible for the 2 previous album covers with the women. I just think that lent its weight to that Gothic aesthetic a lot.
Yeah,
I remember on the floor of the studio having all the artwork laid out, and funnily enough, the sync, because it was UB40's studio, it was called Depp International, beautiful place. It's not there now, they tore it down. But I remember Ali Campbell coming down with a big spliff and just sitting on the sofa watching us, listening to some mixes of Dusk, which was fun. And also watching me, try and collate ideas for this artwork. And he just sat there with this big spliff, just musing, pondering it all. Didn't have the heart to be like, can you bugger off? I mean, it was his studio after all.
You've collaborated with a lot of people in your band, like you've had 37 band members of Cradle of Filth. Like, what does it take to be a part of Cradle of Filth?
We have to get on with everybody.
Yeah.
It does look like a endlessly revolving door, but I've always likened it to working at an office or a radio station or whatever, newspaper. People come and go. People think they can do it better, or they think it's too much work, or I think we only sacked 2 people, 3 people the entirety of the career.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of criteria. I mean, you've got to be a good musician, obviously. You've got to be a lot of fun to be around. We're a very close-knit band.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we have a very cool crew. We spend a lot of time each year living in each other's pockets. I mean,
Yeah.
I sleep probably, if you think about it, I sleep probably as close to, I don't know, like Daniel, our bass player, as I do to my other half.
Yeah.
Probably more so a year if you add it all up. So that yeah, there's so many various criteria.
What do you think if you had been born in Oslo and you heard an album like Dusk and Her Embrace and you were in that scene? What would you have made of the statement you guys were making at that time?
I don't know. I was friends with a lot of people. Well, I mean, I'm still friends, but not quite as close as I was. But in contact and with friends with a lot of people from that scene, Euronymous included.
Mm.
And I mean, he loved our demos. By the time came out, I think he was dead, wasn't he? I'm not sure, but he loved our demos. We toured with Emperor, Dissection, play with Impale Nazarene, and you know, I think we a lot of our things rubbed off a bit on Dissection. I know that's going to be like, oh my god, he said that, but it was true. I think their second album had a lot of elements that came from our sort of Gothic aesthetic. If you check
Mm.
out Where Dead Angels Lie, it was to me like their response to a Gothic romance, which we played quite considerably whilst we were touring with them. The dullheads, the people that are still pondering around, trying to look like upturned badgers in nocturnal forests in the snow, would balk at it, even today, yesterday, whenever.
Yeah.
But back then, musicianship was so vastly different. It was, if you looked at the range of bands across, that really were the onset of the second wave of black metal, everybody was really eclectically different. And I think we were just one of those bands. I don't think anybody would have shunned it. In fact, off the back of that record, we headlined Gods of Darkness, which was us, In Flames, Dissection, and Dimmu opened.
I would like to go to that. That sounds like a nice time.
You
That sounds,
can't because it was
because
in the past.
it was a very I don't think there's better there were not better soundtracks for seduction as a teenager, as a teenage goth. You really did define the epics.
There was a huge goth scene. There was a
Yeah.
huge goth scene from the early 80s onwards.
Yeah.
And I really loved the aesthetic. I loved the ideology. I just found the music a bit too insipid, a bit too watery. And I think maybe a lot of other people embraced the the ideology and iconography of what we were doing, the vibe of it. We had we try and carry on a vibe of everything we do, and Midian had a massive vibe to it, just from a personal side of things. And Dust was no different. Even though we recorded it in Birmingham in this sprawling metropolis, and we were stationed in a bit of a grotty hotel, it was a magical experience. We were young. I think it was the same year that Typo's
Yes. October Rust? No.
Rust
Yeah, you got
independent.
that. You got hot competition there for goth, sexy romance anthems
Oh
between.
well, yeah.
Did you know Peter Steele? Did you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Do you have any?
supported us in the States.
Do you have any fond memories?
But it was one day I had a fight with Kenny Hickey. Um, it was more. It was less of a fight. He was not supposed to be drinking, and Pete or someone, I think one of them, said, "Look, he's really bothering the merch table. He's out of his head, and he's got a big bottle of Jack Daniels. Can you go and do something about it? You get on with him." And so I did. And long story short, I took it off him somehow and hid it, and kind of got him talking to some people. And I came out of the bus where I'd hidden it, and it was in Iowa. I remember that, and there was ice on the floor, and we're in the parking lot, car park to us, and he evidently was just talking to these people, was very aware of what I'd done. And as I came out, he said, "You bastard," and just punched me really hard in the face. And I just went down straight away because I was on a patch of ice. And then I got up and then we had a scrap. People pulled us apart and whatever. And that was kind of it. It was, and I don't hold grudges or anything. But the next day we were playing Detroit and Pete came to the dressing room really slowly, sat himself down in this big leather armchair and was like, "Hey man, I'm so sorry about that dickhead Kenny's attitude yesterday, man. That fucking sucks. Long story, we apologized, couldn't apologize enough, gave me a bit of a cuddle, and then said, "Hey, I've got a really cool idea. People know I'm coming down to talk to you. I got a dressing room upstairs and it's full of chicks and press people. What say me and you go in there and pretend we're having a fight?" And we did. We literally kicked the door in. There's like me, 5'5", and him, what, 8'9" or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And there must have been about 30 people in this dressing room.
Yeah.
All just, chilling, chatting. It was just like the scene in American Wealth in London. Everybody just froze,
Yeah.
crashing in, probably off the hinges. And there was me and Pete, looking like we were really going for it.
Awesome.
And people were just, that's just so fun. It was just a very, very funny.
Yeah.
No, there were many more on that tour. He was kind of a very personal person.
Mm.
There were a few incidents on that tour where he evidently wasn't very well. Like he was obviously burning the candle at both ends. There's a case in Grand Rapids where apparently he'd gone home to see his sick mother, but he wasn't. He was just in the back of the tour bus. He didn't want to do the show. So it was kind of it was the Life is Killing Me tour.
Mm.
Sometimes he was really upbeat, and other times he was pretty morose, but great guy nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, you guys.
Going back to 96 again.
Yeah, I feel
all,
like it's an interesting time.
yeah. It was just
for your band and for the music, and yeah.
Independence Day was the major film of that year, and because of that, they re-released Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, which is my favorite album of all time. And I just remember buying that another copy of that because they reissued it, and that kind of coloured the recording sessions as well. Obviously, based on H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds, it's 70s rock opera, which sounds awful, but it isn't. It really is great. There's one slightly dodgy song with David Essex on it, but it's a phenomena. And I love the collision of massive orchestra, tragic sounding orchestra, with sort of rock and narrative, which is by Richard Burton. It's just huge. It's just a massive undertaking. It's great. I actually auditioned for it and went to what I called Wayne Manor, which is Jeff Wayne's house in just outside London.
Yeah.
And spent the day with him. In the end, I couldn't do it because it was a shortfall between me and this opera singer. And he probably won it because he's an opera singer. But I couldn't do it because we had tours lined up and I was supposed to go out on tour. Jeff Wayne would have been just clashing, but I was only supposed to be there for like an hour, and I spent the entire day there boring him with how much I loved it and finding out all about it. It was great.
I like how enthusiastic you are about things, like the things you are really into. You seem to be someone who gets right into the things you're really into.
If an alien came down to Earth,
yes,
and all the things he was interested in was just black metal, which seems remote. And he asked, "What do you think's what can you give me that's the best example to take back to my home world?" I'd give them in the Nightside Eclipse and say, "This is it. This is the one." We were on tour last year, doing a co-headline with Dying Fetus in the States. A really good tour, actually. It was a festival run. And we had a day off, and somebody just called me and said, "The guys from Emperor are here today." I said, "Oh, right, have they got a day off as well?" "No, they're playing a gig. They're doing the Nightside Eclipse tour." And I was like, "Fuck, I didn't even know about this." So we went along, and it was just incredible. I mean, just to see it live. I went on a snowboarding holiday once funny enough, in Slovenia. And one night I got a bit too drunk on Jägermeister. So I took the rest of the bottle. I snuck out of the apartment, and I was literally just in a jacket and I went and climbed up half a mountain and just sat there watching the moon come up between two other mountains. Headphones on, listening to Nightside Eclipse. I was fucking freezing, but it was such a magical experience. It was amazing.
That's a beautiful thing. Well, you've created so much that people have had moments like that with. Like if you really
Well,
think about it. What's your dream collaborator?
perfect one would be someone like Alana Del Rey. Not that I'm a massive fan of her, but I think it could work.
That'd be cool.
And on a more personal level, I mean, we've already done one with King Diamond in the past, but a Rob Halford or a Bruce
Yeah.
would be very cool as well, or a Blackie Lawless, you know?
When you're building a song and you're adding your 10 pence, what leads you more, the atmosphere or the riff?
The atmosphere, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, it was obviously a combination of both. You can't favour one over the other.
Yeah.
And the riff is obviously creating that atmosphere or lending to it as well. But yeah, Cradle's always about atmosphere, for sure.
Is there a
Yeah,
particular... Yeah, you go.
and the new material is no different. It's very, very atmospheric, very different in places. It's cool. I hate to say the word experimental, because when people say experimental, I literally, if it's one of my favorite bands, they say, "Oh, we're doing experimental," you just go, "Oh no,
Don't do that.
don't do that." So I am not going to use that word. But it's great. It sounds amazing. Again, it's another step up from the previous album. We're trying to just I don't know, explore our identity, I guess.
What is Cradle of Filth in 2026?
I just prefer people, and it would be a real honor just to be remembered when the day comes that we actually hang up our bat wings, that that we were known as Cradle of Filth, as Iron Maiden's not usually recalled as being a new wave of British heavy metal band anymore.
How's this lineup been on this? How has this lineup been on this particular album?
Well, obviously, we had a bit of a mishap last year with a couple of people in the band, and we were very fortunate that one of our crew, who's female, obviously, was a trained opera singer, and has since learned to play the piano. I mean, she could basically
That is a lucky break.
play all the stuff, and which is very admirable.
Yeah. How do you feel about all that stuff? What happened? Not to dwell on it, but yeah.
We can't say anything about it, but the truth will eventually out, and the evidence is irrefutable. When people see our side of the story, which is not vocalized, but actually in written form as well, there'll be a lot of people going, because I got a lot of shit, and I'm not really bothered about it. I get shit all the time, and I get shit about all kinds of things. You just take it on the chin. You're not going to please everybody, and we are one of those bands that polarizes people. And despite being a very cool genre, heavy metal, and very, like I'd say safe and creative and like-minded, it's also very bitter and catty. I don't think I could found any other genre as catty.
Well,
Like, oh, they're shit. Oh, I love this band, but they're shit.
but that's
so
passion. No, sorry.
Well, we do polarize people, so I can appreciate that. But I think that when people realize what did happen, the truth of the matter, I mean, most of the people realize they're not stupid.
Yeah.
But what was more disappointing was just the level of attack, not only from the parties in question, but the people around them, their minions as well. Just assumed they were right because they were the ones like out in the open about it.
Yeah.
So I just lived with it. It's just, what else? It's just another knock on the head. I just turn the fucking internet off and it's gone.
I hope you have a lovely tour. And
Thank you.
We look forward to hearing the new album. And this is Dani Filth, Cradle of Filth. They're going on tour. They will have music in the future. And this is
looking forward to coming to Australia.
It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be a great time.